Everyone is out there looking for debt of some sort in seniors housing and care. The market's gotten very strong, and we hope there's more money out there. And sitting with me today, I have Steve Ervin. He's Senior Vice President of Berkadia, and they definitely want to put out a lot of money and arrange financing for people in senior housing and care. Steve, you put together a solid team in the last 6 months of Berkadia. Are you still adding personnel?
At this point, we've made remarkable progress growing the team and doing actually well beyond the original expectations when I was brought on last August 1st. We've been very happy with the team that we've put together, and I believe that we're probably at a point right now where we aren't looking to, we aren't searching for additional growth, but we are looking for any kind of strategic acquisitions of talent that we can get. People in the right markets, people in the right places. Berkadia in general has a very strong program to try and hire more mortgage banking talent. At this point, we have a very aggressive goal, and the seniors housing group will be a piece of that. We're also going to be backfilling. We've got enough top-end talent. We now are going to be hiring, support staff and underwriting talent in order to continue making sure that my staff can actually sleep at night. Because I've got enough deals coming in that we've got a lot of work to do. So probably by the end of this year, we're at 14 people right now. We'll probably be closer to 20 by the end of this year.
Speaking of goals, what is the goal for Berkadia now in the seniors housing and care lending space?
Well, by and large, Berkadia's goal, and when I was hired, this was a clear directive, was to make us a leader in the products in which we want to play, which are primarily the government guaranteed and GSE lending products. We want to be a leader in Fannie, Freddie, and HUD. Number one if possible, but I don't want to be number one at the cost of doing good deals. So we'll define leader in our own terms within all three of those platforms. In order to do that, one of the key points was we have a proprietary lending program that we roll out to our very strong clients who can bring multiple deals back to us in exchange for us doing certain things for them. We've deployed thus far nearly $100 million under that proprietary lending program, and that started this year. Our first loan was made in February. So we're starting to really utilize that money, and we expect to use that proprietary program to allow us to continue to deliver on the GSE and HUD takeouts and to be able to grow those businesses. We won't be playing in the asset-backed space. That's just not what we do.
So when you say proprietary, you're talking about balance sheet lending?
I am specifically speaking about Berkadia's balance sheet.
Right.
Berkadia has allocated several $100 million of balance sheet just to general products. We've deployed, I believe, about 300 to 350 million so far since last October. A substantial chunk of that being seniors housing, and seniors will continue to be an important piece of that ever-growing proprietary balance sheet capacity.
Right. That's good to you, because I think the industry needs more and more balance sheet lending out there, so hopefully you can grow that. Are you looking at a certain split in your business between independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, or did not really matter?
We haven't focused on a defined split. If we ever get significantly out of weight one way or another, we will likely balance that from the balance sheet standpoint. From a Fannie, Freddie, and HUD standpoint, obviously more of HUD is going to be skilled nursing and some of the assisted livings that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac don't otherwise like. The independent living, assisted living are all going to go Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. At this point, I'm really coming out about half and half, AL, and ALZ, and then skilled nursing. About half and half both on the balance sheet side as well as on the GSE related side. It seems like a fair split to me, but we're not actively looking one way or the other. It's just a matter of that's the way the deals have come in, and that balance works for us. But if it ends up, 2/3, 1/3, one way or another, that would be fine, and we're agnostic either direction.
And then how about putting the balance sheet side of the business away for a minute? When you look at your GSE business, is it 50% Fannie Freddie, 50% HUD? Is there any?
It's actually working out right now. It's more heavily weighted towards Fannie and Freddie.
Oh, really?
Those happen to be, we're a relatively young group. Me starting August 1st, adding people September, and then moving on to the end of October is when we really built out the core of the originations team. So, as you know, the length of time that it takes to get HUD deals going is generally a little bit longer, and HUD's recent activity and ability to remove the queue has created far more interest in HUD today.
Right.
But from the last 3 to 4 months, there was still the belief that HUD was taking 9, 10, 12 months, and there wasn't as much interest in HUD. We're starting to see a lot more interest in the HUD side, and I would imagine that it's going to end up balancing that side out. Right now, we're a little heavier from an origination standpoint on the Fannie Freddie side.
Are you seeing just a general increase in funding requests, or is it just kind of the same kind of volume?
Oh no, we're definitely seeing an increase, keeping in mind, even compared to what I had seen in my prior lives at other companies, what I'm seeing right now and in the chair that I'm sitting, I'm seeing absolute increases in funding requests. More people who are looking for acquisition financing, that I think has to do with the bridge, looking for more deals that are trying to take advantage of where rates are today in anticipation that we're going to have higher rates in a year and a half. Unfortunately, I've been saying rates are going up for about the last 5 years. I've been wrong for a while. I expect to be right sometime soon.
Eventually, you're going to be right on that one. I can guarantee that. So you're seeing more on the acquisition side than the refinancing side.
I'm sorry, I meant to say that the acquisition side is increasing. I'm not seeing more on the acquisition than refinancing, but the acquisition inquiries are up from where they had been previously, and that was something I wasn't really expecting to see. I'm very happy to see it. But it's some people deciding to let go of their real estate companies, some people exiting the business, and other just general accumulation of some clients that we've already got.
And have you been happy with the quality of what those clients are buying?
At this point, the purchases that I'm seeing are somewhat of a mixed bag. We don't spend an awful lot of time working when we don't like the quality of the assets. We make that decision, or we try to make that decision relatively quickly, and maybe the financing is better placed elsewhere. When we like the assets, we go after them pretty hard. And so far, I have seen adequate quality, some very good, some kind of mid-range, but most of them with significant upside potential, whether it be on the skilled nursing from a Medicare mix improvement, or whether it be on the ALIL just from a little improvement in the operations. We see improvement, we generally underwrite existing and look for the improvement to be on the equity side.
Why shouldn't a borrower refinance now? I mean, you must go to the clients who've already have the debt in their books, and you might say, hey, your rates are so low, historic lows. Why wouldn't they, or why shouldn't they refinance?
Well, there are a few reasons that somebody wouldn't want to refinance today, but they all primarily deal only with the current business plan and their current structure of where their debt is. If somebody's looking to get out of their buildings in 2 to 3 years, putting new debt on today, there may not be a benefit to the ultimate cost. Yes, the debt is all assumable, but there's a frictional cost to the assumption, and it may end up getting in the way if you're going to sell to a REIT, for example. On the other hand, there are enough people out there who still have some pretty strong yield maintenance issues, and yield maintenance when rates are where they are today is incredibly painful. Aside from those reasons, or if you're going to do a replacement facility or do some substantial expansion that you aren't quite done with your business idea, if you have a core asset that's operating as expected, there is, in my opinion, no reason not to be looking seriously at a potential of refinancing and taking your debt cost for an extended period of time down to levels that I don't believe we're going to see. There I go again for my 5 years.
Especially because rates are going to go up.
They are going to go up. So to rates where I just don't think you're going to see a repeat. The one exception is in states where, on a nursing side, where Medicaid will go down right with the savings in interest rates, such as New York. And right there, we have an awful lot of loans in New York sitting at 7.5%, and there's no benefit to a refinance. it's interesting, but they lose all the money in the Medicaid reimbursement.
Right.
Those are the only reasons. Other than that, somebody should absolutely be considering a refinance in order to lock away their debt as advantageous a financing option as they can.
Right. Well, it is definitely a great time to finance, and and as you said, at some point rates are going to go up. So hopefully you'll have a great year with your new team, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right.